Carl, good morning to you. You know, this is really an end of an era because Sheldon Adelson was the last of the casino moguls on the Las Vegas Strip, the last founder of a mega brand. At 87, he was still the decision maker for this company. He died last night of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which he'd battled for some time. It had taken him off multiple earnings calls, though not out of the office, throughout the last couple years. His legacy, profound. Every market he touched, he changed. Adelson's impact on Macau, his vision for Singapore, his dreams for Las Vegas. He leaves his mark on every integrated resort in every destination. He had a deep, abiding love for Israel. He donated generously to conservative politics there and smashed records for political donations in U.S. politics. In fact, according to the Center for Responsive Politics, Sheldon Adelson and his wife were the single largest political donors of the 2020 election cycle, giving $218 million to Republican or conservative groups. They had donated more than $100 million in the 2018 midterms, and in the 2016 presidential election, they were Trump's biggest donors. Sheldon Adelson had a massive impact on U.S. politics. All of that, of course, was extraneous to the people who worked for him. Many of his executive team had been with him for decades. Head of communications, Ron Reese, told me, "Today's a day when the housekeepers are crying over the death of Mr. Adelson." He was perceived as anti-union, but executives point out what he paid and he offered for benefits exceeded what unions secured for those workers. And throughout the pandemic, Las Vegas Sands has not laid off any of its 50,000 employees globally, which really, I think, stands out not just in the casino industry, but in business in general. Last Wednesday, the company announced Adelson would take medical leave. It was an indication of how seriously his health was declining. The board named Rob Goldstein interim chairman and CEO, signaling its thoughts about the potential future leadership here. I also want to mention that the CFO, Patrick Dumont, is Sheldon's son-in-law, and the family retains majority share. Sheldon Adelson's funeral will be held, I'm told, almost immediately in Israel, with a memorial planned for a later date in Las Vegas. Carl.
Contessa, any clues as to whether or not or how the company's direction or focus might change?
You know, after he announced medical leave last week, we already saw analysts speculating about whether Rob Goldstein would entertain the idea of Las Vegas Sands breaking into sports gambling. Remember, Sheldon Adelson was a very staunch opponent of internet gambling, spent a lot of money trying to fight it. And we may see some departure on that because right now, all the businesses that Las Vegas Sands engages in, these integrated resorts, those have all been shut down in the pandemic, where with internet gambling, of course, that can stay up and running even if the physical casinos are locked down. We'll have to wait and see if that comes through to fruition.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.